University.
Okay, Savannah, we're here at NKU, and I know you're telling us that you're going to the education part of it. What kind of new education opportunities or what needs to be improved in the education department?
At NKU, one of the biggest things that drew me in was the fact that you get in classroom experience your freshman year. And I know due to COVID that stopped, and I'm now a junior and just now getting my in classroom experience. So I would like to see that open back up for the freshmen and sophomores to be able to be in a classroom, because once you're in a classroom is when you can really decide if that's a major you want to continue with. So I know a lot of juniors who are now changing their major, even though, like I said, they're in their third year and they're just now realizing they no longer want to teach.
We got a lot of education opportunities here already. Myself, I'm a marketing major. I'm double majoring in marketing and business information systems. So I really like the education opportunities that I've had so far. I know some education opportunities that I've seen others really want is our American Sign Language class. Right now, it's not accredited as a foreign language class, so I know that's something that a lot of people really want to see, myself included. And I'd like to see more investment into our engineering programs, right? So right now, a lot of our engineering classes are actually held inside of our College of Business building right over there. And while I do know a number of different electrical engineering majors, mechatronics engineering majors also, I know them, and there are plenty of those majors and opportunities available, but I'd like to see more of that, right? And so if I could see more of that kind of expanded, maybe even outside of the College of Business building into its own building, I think that would present some really cool opportunities for a lot of students here at NKU.
Okay, what kind of part of education are you trying to get into?
What is it?
What part of education are you trying to get into? Teacher or what?
So I'm a middle grades history and English education major. So those are my subjects.
What part of the education system do you think might need to be improved?
Like the education system as a whole, or like higher ed specifically?
Any part of it that needs to be improved, or the whole, or whatever part.
Fascinating. Well, something that I'd really like to see in terms of just, and I'm going to take my backpack off here too, but something that I'd really like to see in terms of higher ed being improved is just making it more accessible for people. So there's obviously a very steep price that you have to pay to get into most like colleges. And with the job market becoming so competitive, you know, it's not like the days of the 40s or the 50s where you could graduate from high school and go get a job in the manufacturing sector, right? In the automobile sector, right? Any manufacturing jobs like that are not nearly as plentiful as they once were. Nowadays, it's much more service-based, and there's a lot more knowledge that you have to get into the job market here in the United States. So with that in mind, you almost have to have a college education if you want to be able to support yourself, right? Unless you're going to go into a trade. And so with that in mind, you'd think that the barriers to entry to get into college would be very low, but that's not true. In fact, it's very high. You usually have to pay, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars in tuition to get into college, and that makes it very non-accessible for some people. And so NKU's pretty good about it. We're pretty nice and student-centric, and we try to keep our tuition pretty low. But other institutions, you're going to be paying tens of thousands of dollars. So I'd really like to see it come from a federal level to make college more accessible to people. Whether that's a tuition assistance program. I know recently the federal government said we're going to forgive a lot of that student debt. That's great, but that's a very retroactive step, right? That's reactive. We need to be proactive in ensuring that we're able to allow more people to get into higher education, to get into college, and to prepare themselves to get a job to support themselves here in the United States. And I think it has to come from a federal level, and I think it starts by funding the universities more and really almost setting a cap. You can do it state by state if you want, but setting a cap on this is how much you're allowed to charge for tuition, nothing more. And universities will just have to adjust accordingly. So
What do you think is the importance for education in colleges so that how things like improve after COVID restrictions have been lifted and stuff like that?
Gotcha. I think for colleges, like, to further your education is important because, like, in high school and everything, there's such strict guidelines for what teachers have to teach. And once you get into college is when you're able to select more things that interest you, and you can, like, further learn about things that you are interested in. Because when you're forced to learn something, you're not going to learn much about it, versus when you're learning something you're actually genuinely interested in, you're going to pay more attention and study more in depth for it.
I can't speak for too many other institutions since I've just only really gone to NKU, but I can say here we make it pretty easy to get involved since we are like a majority commuter campus. Organizations really have to put their names out there, put themselves out there to get students' attention, because so many people will just try to go to class and then go back home and not get involved on campus, right? So here at NKU, we make it real easy. We'll have events like we're having today with all of these different organizations tabling. Those are going to happen at least once a month, right? And then in our student union, we have organizations tabling every day, basically saying, hey, come and join us, come to this event, come to that event. So we're constantly trying to get people involved. And I think just responding to these organizations, engaging in these organizations, you'll find it that the barriers to entry there are very low, and they make it very easy for you to get involved. And so just get engaged with your organizations. Look at your university's website, right? Chances are your university is going to have some sort of website that lists the different clubs and organizations that they have, and then contact information for each of those clubs and organizations. If you're really looking to get involved, I'd say that would be your first step. Here at NKU, we've got something called Presence. You go to NKU, you just Google NKU Presence, you can instantly see all of the different organizations that we have to offer here. And so if you're looking to get involved, that's definitely where I would recommend to go. And then from there, you make more friends, you get better experiences, you get more experiences, you're getting the most out of your time here in college. So highly recommend getting involved, and yeah, that's a good way to start.
Northern Kentucky University.